It's dark outside and I've been up in this bitch getting fried. Welcome back to Bestie After Dark, where I get baked as hell and I tell your worst or most interesting dating, romance, and bedroom story time submissions. As a reminder, if you would like to get your story to me, please visit ycbestie.com/bad. Let's get straight into things. The title of your After Dark story time is Clean Your Fucking Nails. Hey Bestie, I love your Bad series and I wanted to share one of my own. To keep it as easy for you as possible, I'm going to go ahead and change all the names in here so that you can read it as is. I was with this guy, we're going to call him Bob, for almost 7 whole fucking years before I broke up with him. I'm glad that that's a fake name because I'd be like, girl, in the big 2026 you were with someone named Bob? How old are y'all? I feel like you shouldn't be allowed to be named Bob until you're 40. I don't know. That's that's the point in time where you can transition from Robert to Bob. Anytime in between, I feel like you should have to be Billy, even though I'm pretty sure that Billy is short for William. That's just my problematic view on the world. What can I say? We were together for almost 7 whole fucking years before I broke up with him. He grew up in the country and loved working with his hands and being outdoors, which was fine and dandy, but he did not clean under his fingernails or trim them as often as he should. This is very important, and you'll see why in a moment. I bet you I can guess. One time, Bob was going downstairs on me, and I won't even lie, he could eat, but he started to use his fingers at the same time, and he accidentally cut my fucking cooter open with his fucking fingernails. Told you I could guess. It was uncomfortable, but we're moving past it in the moment. Then a week later, I start getting these little sores on my motherfucking coochie cat, and they hurt so bad. I get more sores, and the pain is excruciating. I have a very high pain tolerance, and I'm literally a masochist, but this hurt so bad. I was sobbing, just trying to pee, and wishing that I would pass on because it was so painful. I booked an appointment with a gyno to go get checked out, and homegirl literally told me that it looked like I had contracted herpes. So she took a swab and sent it off to get cultured while I awaited the results. I was horrified and so upset, thinking that I might have herpes now and that I had been possibly cheated on and given a lifelong disease because of it. To say that I was distraught is an understatement. The results took like a week or two, and I was miserable. I was literally trying to survive on some bitch ass 800 milligram ibuprofen that the gyno had given me, which honestly is kind of a slap in the face, and it pissed me off. She literally saw how bad the situation down there was and slapped me with some ibuprofen. Rude. I was surviving by putting liquid lidocaine on my lippage where the sores were. It burned even worse when I would put the lidocaine on before, and then it would eventually go numb. I have sensitive skin, so my cooter was already irritated by just the lidocaine and making everything swollen on top of that, but the lidocaine was the only temporary relief that I could get. Finally, we get the results back after a week or two. Was it herpes? No. He gave me strep throat in my feminine parts. What? That is so fucking crazy, and I need you to know that. That is fucking insane. I mean, I guess it makes sense though. Lots of moisture, lots of folds in both. But I've got to say, I haven't heard of that before. You got me there. Okay, I did have a story once. This was a few weeks ago, and if I didn't post this on my socials, someone let me know. I think it was from episode 6, where their boyfriend was going down on them, and while they're downstairs, they got a nosebleed and they kept going. And her urethra sucked up some of the blood, and she ended up septic because of it. And that's how she found out that she was getting cheated on, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, was he had like an STI Some shit. I don't know. It was fucking insane. So, but you win today's insanest story. Congrats. Um, Absolutely awful experience. I think that they ended up giving me the meds that they use for strep throat too, and I'd never gotten strep throat in my throat during this time, and he had also never had strep throat. A true mystery. Anyways, it's very important that your partner trims their nails so that they're not Edward Scissorhanding your downstairs area, and make sure that they clean underneath their nasty ass fucking fingernails because you never know what kind of bacterias and viruses are lurking and living down there. Also, he did end up cheating on me a few years later because I caught him red-handed inappropriately messaging his literal groomer ex-girlfriend that lived out of state. And I need you to know how bad that sentence makes sense for him. Okay? He definitely gives this aura that women his age want nothing to do with. He was just a shitty boyfriend overall. Y'all, please do better than me. Do not put up with men's bullshit and keep your nails clean. Definitely be better than Bob. Okay, bye. Love you, bestie. Love you too. All right, on to the next. The title of your After Dark story time is I Make Bad Decisions. So I knew this guy from high school, and we finally reconnected a few years later in college. We don't live in the same state anymore, so I was planning to go see him during one of my breaks. We started talking, and it was weird. Like, I really should have walked away right then and there, weird. But I thought that he was just awkward and nervous, and I decided to continue on. So we finally meet up, and he was on the roof when I pulled up. First of all, what the fuck? Why? We go inside and we talk for a little, and then we go to do the do. We were making out, and he would lick my teeth, which was weird, but he obviously didn't know what he was doing, and I'm not all that experienced either, so I brushed it off. Lick your teeth? What do you mean by that? Like, just reach his tongue out and, like, I didn't like that. Okay, maybe I'm weird for this, but I don't really like tongues. I have a weird, I don't like tongues, they freak me out. Okay, maybe it's because I know that cavities are contagious. I don't know. But they scare me. Okay, and when I see y'all in public, especially, or like those fucking videos that you record of yourselves, like licking each other all on the fucking face, like you got your goddamn tongue going up their nostril and shit. I hate that. I hate that, and it fills me with disgust. That's it. That's all I can say. Okay. I don't know why I would choose now to add this into my commentary. I think that like I'm the immature freak for this, but that I would have thrown up on him, and I need you to know that. You just licked my teeth? No. Fuck no. Oh my god. I should While it's on my mind, I should finish your story, babe. I'm so sorry to say this. One time I was very young. I was like again, like maybe 10, maybe 10. Why was I allowed to have a boyfriend at 10? Anyways, we would kiss. His oral health, his dental hygiene was so bad. I just got genuinely so nauseous. His oral hygiene was so bad that chunks of plaque would come off in my mouth. And that's probably why a 10-year-old shouldn't have a 14-year-old boyfriend because they're probably a freak. No, anyways, we go to bed. Uh his thing was very impressive, but he couldn't keep it up. No shame, no hate. Shit happens. We can work around it. Real. So I go down. I try to encourage it, and nothing really happened. So we flip over into 96 in reverse. I don't really enjoy receiving head, but I never turn it down. So I decide whether I enjoy it or not, we're gonna get into it. And then all of a sudden, he starts sucking like really hard. And I was like, ouch, I don't like that. And he said, okay. And he kept going. He then proceeds to bite me on the lip. Girl, when I tell you I jumped off that bed so damn fast, he started freaking out, asking if I was okay. And I said, yeah, but why the hell would you bite me? And he begins to profusely apologize and say that he had never done this before and just wanted to try some of the things that he'd seen in videos. We talk it out a little, and since neither of us has really gotten to this point, we decide to continue. Still nothing from the little buddy downstairs. We go back to oral, and that's when he starts using his hands. At first, it was all good. He was hitting the right spots and I was enjoying it. And then he starts adding more. And then he tries to put his whole hand up there. Ah! I feel bad because there are definitely situations where I think both parties, but especially guys for some reason, they get like they get super in their heads in a way that like psychs them out, especially if they don't have a ton of experience, right? And I think like it can be hard like for me to fully connect with that because I have a lot of experience, right? I was a CSA, like a multi-event ongoing CSA victim, survivor. But because of that, I feel like, oh, I know what I'm doing. And not only that, there have been times as an adult where I felt like this isn't meant for me to enjoy. This is give me 1 second. Basil, get up out of my shop stock. You're fucking tripping. Come here. You can come sit with me. But I felt like this wasn't meant for me to enjoy. This was meant to be a performance for them. And I think the flip side of that is men trying to, or boys, really, young men, inexperienced men, trying to put on the same performance that they have seen in videos instead of like organically connecting with their partner and trying to do like what the person sitting right in front of you wants, right? They want to appear like I'm good at this and like I know what I'm doing. They want to feel confident and they're not. And they're trying to mask that insecurity by like pulling out these crazy moves they've seen on video before. When in reality, like those people in those videos are goddamn sure putting on a performance. Okay? Like that's the point. That's the point. I know some of my followers, babe, if someone set up a camera in your bedroom, it would be boring as hell. And low key, I think that let me not say that, but I think that there should be like more realistic um examples. I almost said touch points. That would be crazy. But yeah, more realistic examples. I think that in some ways that industry has become so commercialized that like the amateur category as we once knew it doesn't necessarily exist, and in some ways it's for the better, right? Like that category, the home videos that used to be on major platforms, in a lot of ways, sorry if the main camera is shaking, my cat keeps walking by, but we love him so it's fine. In some ways, like that category led to a lot of young people, inexperienced people, people who didn't know that they were being recorded, being exploited. And so, it's a real catch 22 on that front. But yeah, yeah, it sounds like he was trying his best to perform instead of just asking you what you would want. He tried to put his whole hand inside of me. Nope. I flew off the bed again and said I needed a break, and he went to the bathroom. I started panicking because I genuinely did not want to make this guy feel bad. You should have. I should have just come out and said it in hindsight. You should have. He went to the bathroom and I faked a phone call from a friend and I started actually panicking, asking questions like it was a real emergency, and I got dressed super quickly and that's when he walked back in. He was really concerned and I said, I have to go. My friend's husband is beating her and trying to take their kids. And I ran out of there. Why would that be your go-to lie? The fuck is your... You're like, yeah, this one makes the most sense. Okay. I deleted his number, I ghosted him, and I had to sit on an ice pack for 2 days. I thought it was over, I thought it was done with, and that he would have gotten the hint, but he texted me on my birthday to say he saw one of my dating profiles while I was back in town, and he wanted to meet up. I then proceeded to block him, which I should have done in the first place, but you live and you learn. It's safe to say that I have not stopped cringing at this moment, and anytime my mind replays it, my body dries up like a raisin. To any girls out there who think that the nerdy gamer guy is the one that got away, please make sure you get references and do your homework before you go into bed with him. Oh, yeah, I also forgot. We're both each other's second partner in life, so we were both pretty experienced, but in we were both pretty inexperienced. But he had already lost his V card to our school bop, who he then followed to college. Oh my god, I just opened your submission and you accepted my marketing emails. Thank you. I don't think I've ever sent out an email. If I have, it was like a discount code to my merch shop that went out automatically. So, thanks. But when you guys click false on my fucking Bestie After Dark form, it feels like you literally came in my house with a sharp object and just got to letting me have it. Rude bitch. Anyway, not you, y'all. The title of your After Dark story time is Freezer Surprise. Back in 2020, I went on a coffee date with this guy that I met on Tinder. We had such a good time that we decided to go to dinner that same night. Dinner was great, no off putting vibes, and we'd been together the whole day at this point. I went back to his place post dinner and we banged it out. We had both had clean STI screenings prior to meeting, so I decided to let him forego a rubber and finish inside. When he was finished, he went to the kitchen to get us some water. What he returned with resulted in pure horror on my part. He had a pill bottle that he explained was full of his frozen secretions and asked if I could clean up and put it in the bottle. Clean up your fucking insides? What? I let out a loud gasp and told him no, and he went back to the kitchen. Good for you. Now, I don't usually shame bedroom proclivities, but I hightailed it the fuck out of there before I was even fully dressed. I did not want to see the basement I would be forcibly inseminated in. I blocked him on everything, and the worst part is that he lived near the grocery store my mom works at, so I would always cringe when I walked in, waiting for him to be there when I turned the corner. What a fucking freak. Damn. The title of your After Dark story time is Musty Jackhammer. So I served this guy a few times and we ended up hooking up, but he literally smelled musty, like his clothes had been left in the washing machine for several days and then not rewashed. But he put them on his fucking body, and then in the middle of hooking up, his technique was literally like a jackhammer. It was so terrible to the point that I stopped mid interlude and I told him I just can't anymore. I put him out, like literally put him out of the bed, put him out of my house. Like, you are terrible, you're trash, go away, bye. Sidebar, he was also my plug's cousin. I also ran into him several years later at my Connect slash best friend's family function, and I completely did not even know who he was. He really got hurt by it because I legitimately did not even recognize him or remember him until like several minutes later. No joke though, the smell, the motion of whatever he was trying to do, it literally cannot be described or compared any other way than a jackhammer, and it haunts me to this day. It was the worst experience and worst partner I've ever had. The smell was that bad. I'm so glad that you kicked him out. Like, I'm sorry. Someone's gonna be like, you're a bitch for that. And maybe I am, but it's better than you having raging BV for the rest of your life. This submission does not have a title, but it does say content warning, gross. Just gross. So I was with this guy for 4 years who was a total douche. He cheated on me constantly. The details aren't really necessary, but just know every time I turned around, I caught him cheating. But for whatever dumbass reason, codependency and abandonment issues, according to my mental health professionals, I just couldn't seem to bring myself to end the relationship. Well, after one of the worst cheating scandals, I caught him boinking the new neighbor 2 months after we moved across the country to be closer to his family. I finally said enough is enough and I got my own apartment. I was totally set to end things, only I couldn't quite pull the trigger. Moving out wasn't enough. Moving out wasn't enough. All right. Moving day comes and I'm all set up in my adorable new apartment. I didn't have anything yet, just an air mattress on the floor, but it was my place, my piece, and I was so proud of it. I spent the first day in my lonely little apartment by myself doing some online shopping for furniture, and of course, as any girl knows, you can't shop without iced coffee. Real. So I bought myself one of those cheap half-gallon containers of iced coffee from the grocery store. You know, the ones that come in the cardboard jug and will definitely make you shit your pants. I'm very familiar. A few hours go by, I'm sipping away on my coffee, and of course, old cheater McCheaterson hits me up. He wants to come over and see the new place, just as friends. We're not friends. Listen, if there's anything that I can impart on you guys, you're not friends with them. Okay, I'm not saying that you have to be enemies, but especially during the breakup, we're not friends. And if anything, most of the time, this is your opportunity to find the parts of yourself that may have been lost throughout that relationship, especially if it was very codependent. And by even allowing them into your space during that time, like, you are inherently preventing your own healing in a way that will ultimately become very damaging to like who you are and finding who you are. I don't love this. Okay. I take it a step further because this is me we're talking about. Like, depending on what it is, we might not even have a reason to return each other's things because we don't have anything to talk about. That's an opportunity for you to try and sway me from what I have already decided is best for myself. So, no, I hate that. I'm weak and gullible, so I agree. You're not weak, babe. We all do this shit, but gullible, yes. We end up doing it on my new air mattress. Assuming this would be the last time that we ever did it together, we're getting kind of crazy, and he asks to use the back door. So I agree, and I'm just bouncing away on it when suddenly something doesn't quite feel right. And then something doesn't quite smell right either. I jump off of him and I discover that the entire jug of iced coffee I drank that day has decided to make its grand appearance. His thing looked like a chocolate soft serve cone from McDonald's. Why would you say that? Like, what? One of the ones with the chocolate shell? What's wrong with you? The look of horror and disgust on his face was priceless. And now, ordinarily, I would have been beyond mortified, but seeing this cheating, lying piece of shit laying there, covered in my shit, was just the mental image I needed to realize how fucking pathetic he really is. All I can do is laugh. The best part, he definitely thought that I did it on purpose. I'm sorry, just like imagine you accidentally shit yourself all over everywhere. And they're like, I'm a lying, cheating piece of shit, so I think that you shitted on me on purpose as revenge. Like, this is frying me so bad. Oh my god. Of course I didn't, but I guess my body said, girl, you deserve some revenge, and we're gonna get it for you. He asked to use my shower, and I said no. I made him wipe himself off with his own clothes, and I sent him home with a stinky pee pee. You were my hero. Like any story where you guys have an opportunity to make it worse and you do, I love it. Never talk to him again. As the problematic queen, Nicki Minaj would say, I just shitted on him. And that's the story of how I accidentally got revenge on a guy who I probably would have let walk all over me for the rest of my life. I feel you. The title of your After Dark story time is Screwing My School Bullies. To preface, I'm trans and I came out in 2024, but when this story takes place, I was living life as a gay man. One guy, Dylan, was a major part of the group that bullied me from 7th grade until 11th grade. In 11th grade, I came out in small town Arkansas and I decided to weaponize their relationships by becoming besties with their girlfriends, and then nobody fucked with me. Alas, Dylan wasn't always the worst to me, and I noticed a significant drop off in like 10th grade from him in particular. We graduate, and less than a year later, he hits me up, shit happens, we hook up. I was stuck on him. My main type is country guys, and he was using me for, doing it, but I didn't know. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so curious if Dylan was a top or a bottom. So curious because I think that, like, I don't know. I've always wondered about this. Like, okay, what does Dylan count as trade? It doesn't sound like you're actually trading anything. It sounds like you might actually be getting the losing end of this stick here. But what was I even saying? Oh, I think that it like makes more sense functionally for like closeted bottoms to be scared, but closeted tops have always perturbed me. I don't know. And I don't mean to be like any of the phobics in saying that. Like DL culture is insane. Cruising culture is crazy, bro. But I've just always found that so interesting when you find out that someone is a DL top. So unexpected. You don't you don't verse, you just loved giving it out. I don't know. Why do I know so much about gay man culture? I've seen whole in my day. Okay. I'm not friends with this person anymore, but listen, one of my best friends for a long time was a well-known harlot in our local gay scene. I mean, like, we would go to the club together, and literally every gay man in our eyesight, they had fucked. And yeah, he used to send me whole pics all the time, and I'd be like, please stop doing that. Please stop doing that. Anyways, once I found out that he was just using me, I decided to get with him one last time and get all of the receipts and start a list of all of my bullies. I ended up getting with 4 of them before I met my boyfriend. All of them small town conservative guys who claimed to be straight, and I got with 4 out of the 7 before I got with my guy and I stopped my burn book. I kept the receipts with blah, blah, blah. I kept receipts of all of these hookups and I still follow them on social media. But I have too many good things happening in my life to lurk. It's just a good reminder from time to time of nice revenge. Also, side note, I'm so sorry, but I'm a middle aged 25-year-old and I don't have TikTok, or I would follow you there too. Oh, thanks, friend. Thank you so much for joining me for Bestie After Dark. If you would like to see all of bad all at once, you can subscribe on my website, ycbestie.com, for early access on Saturdays, or visit my YouTube at ycbestie on Mondays. Thanks again!